72 convertible Impala LS3 swap. Looking at maybe almost 600 horsepower. We ain't put it on the dyno yet, YouTube. We did our own wiring. And we show y'all how to do the wiring, YouTube. Step by step. We did our fuel system. We show you how to do the fuel system as well. Step by step, YouTube. Everything you need to know. Now let's swap, baby. Power steering working, man. Got the 72 convertible. Power steering box reinstalled. We flushed the system out the GM recommended way. And we also bled the system the GM recommended way. And as of right now, I'm satisfied, YouTube. Are you working on an LS swap? Do you have the desire to do a LS swap? Well, power steering is an absolute must-do, YouTube. For those of y'all that don't know, I went through 3 different power steering pumps and 3 different power steering gearboxes. That's a lot of time and a lot of money right there, YouTube. And what I'm about to share with y'all today is gonna prevent you from making the same mistakes that I did, YouTube. I've been working on cars for over 30 years. I'm not telling you what I know. I'm speaking to you from experience. So y'all do yourself a favor. Make sure you watch this whole video, YouTube. Make sure you click that subscribe button, YouTube. And make sure you drop me a comment in the comment section and say I'm riding with Chevys R Us, Tone. Y'all ready? Let's get to it, YouTube. YouTube, this your boy, Tone coming back at y'all one more again, YouTube, with another great video on Chevys R Us, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. We out here in the garage, and guess what? Ain't nothing nobody can do about it, YouTube. We finna get to this thing. We're gonna talk about LS swap power steering, man. Exactly what you need to do, man, so you don't have all the issues and the problems that I had with my power steering, YouTube. You might think, you know what, power steering is pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, but I'm here to tell y'all, man, the power steering pump made on these newer model cars, the gearboxes made on these newer model cars, they're a lot more sensitive than the older stuff made back in the 80s and the 90s and the 70s. You know what I'm saying? And it's specific things that you got to do to make it work so that you don't spend a whole lot of money or a whole lot of time trying to get your power steering up and going on your LS swap, YouTube. So y'all do me a favor, man, and make sure y'all pay attention and make sure y'all watch this whole video. That way, you don't go out having to spend all that money that I had to spend. You don't take a whole lot of time to get your LS swap up and running, YouTube. So let's get right to it, YouTube. All right, YouTube. Now that we got the power steering gearbox installed, which is this device, which is this thing right here. We got it all bolted up. We got it all hooked up. We got the steering shaft hooked up. We got this nut right here. We got some Loctite on it. We got the pitman arm, which is on the bottom. I'll show you. This is the pitman arm. Let me cut the light on so y'all can see. Yeah, this is the pitman arm right here. This thing right here. We got it torqued to, I think, 185 foot-pounds of torque. We got it all torqued in. Got it put back together. We already got a video on the LS Swap power steering playlist on how to install that power steering gearbox. So if you want to know how to install one of these boxes, please check that video out. Click on that playlist in the top right corner, and you can see all the other videos related to LS Swap power steering, tips and tricks, how to save you time, how to save you money. But now what we're going to focus on is how to properly flush out your power steering system. And you probably saying power steering flush. You know, old school days, you ain't need to do all that. But with these newer model power steering pumps, these newer model power steering gearboxes, I'm telling you, it matters. Because if you're doing an LS swap, 9 times out of 10, you got an older car, you got an older gearbox in there, and you know that thing has been operating, and I'm sure you got some particles or you got some kind of debris or something like that in your power steering system. And these newer model LS style power steering pumps, trust me, man, I'm speaking from experience. They are so sensitive that, you know, when you put one in your car, it's best to flush out your system. That way you remove everything that's already in there, because it'll screw it up. It'll screw it up. I had to put 3 different power steering pumps on my car and 3 different power steering gearboxes on my car. So trust me when I tell you this, YouTube. But anyway, that's what we gonna do. I'm gonna show y'all how to do that step by step. So let's get to it. You might think, you know what, power steering is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. But I'm here to tell y'all, man, the power steering pumps made on these newer model cars, the gearboxes made on these newer model cars, they're a lot more sensitive than the older stuff made back in the 80s and the 90s and the 70s. You know what I'm saying? And it's specific things that you got to do so that you don't spend a whole lot of money or a whole lot of time trying to get your power steering up and going on your LS swap, YouTube. I'm here to tell you, man. So first things first, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get the car jacked up and we're gonna go from there. All right, YouTube. I got the car front end jacked up and I have the key ignition switch turned on, the way I can just rotate this real easy, YouTube. So now what I'm gonna do is I got the return blocked off in here. All right, YouTube, I actually had to stop and postpone the flushing the system because I forgot to put the AN6 fittings on my power steering box. So what I did is I took that Teflon tape and kind of wrapped it around both ends of the AN6 adapters. You can get these on Amazon, and what they do is they convert the old style power steering hoses into AN6 fittings. So I'm just gonna pop these out. All right, so now I got them little plugs out. Now I can just take these and screw these in here. And these will only screw in one way. This side is not gonna screw in over here because the threads are different. So just gonna screw that in like that. See, I got both of them screwed in. So now I just take a ratchet and kind of torque these down a little bit. They don't gotta be real tight, but let me put the phone down and do that, and then we'll be back with y'all, YouTube. All right, YouTube. Got the high pressure line connected to the high pressure of the power steering pump. So now that we got that done, let me show you something real quick. So this right here, this connection right here from the reservoir, the smaller one from the reservoir, I actually got it blocked off here. This line right here would actually go from here to here, which is the return coming from the power steering gearbox. But I'm not gonna put this hose back in there. I actually have a cooler in line, and it's mounted to the radiator. And here is my two connections. We got one going into the cooler, which is gonna be connected to the power steering box. And then we got the other line coming out of the cooler, which is gonna be going back to the reservoir. So on a normal basis, this is how it would be hooked up from here to there. But since I have this in line, then what we need to do is just connect this to here. And then we'll start bleeding the system. We'll run a hose to this and put a hose on like this. And just run that hose down to a drain pan. So let me get this one connection in here, and then let me get this tight, and I'll be back with y'all in a minute, YouTube. All right, YouTube, I got the return connected down on the power steering box, and then I got the other line that's gonna connect to the reservoir right here. I got my hose plugged up to it, and I got a drain pan underneath. Let me get the drain pan. So there's the drain pan right there. So whenever fluid comes out, it's gonna boom. It's gonna go right in the drain pan right there, YouTube. There it is. So next step is I need to take this cap off. I need to fill this reservoir up with fluid. And we're gonna just turn the steering wheel back and forth and watch the system suck all this down in there, and it's gonna circulate through the system and gonna go in the drain pan. And what that does is that flushes out any debris, any particles or dirt or anything like that in the system. And to be honest with you, the power steering box is brand new, and I had the power steering pump tested, and so it was cleaned out and flushed out as well. And I really don't need to flush it right now, but I'm gonna do it anyway, just for the sake of this video, YouTube. So let me do that. Let me fill this up with fluid, and let me just turn the steering wheel back and forth to suck the fluid in the pump and through the system. So, all right, be back in a minute. All right, YouTube, I ran 1 quart of power steering fluid through the system, and I've already took my little block off, took it off the reservoir and connected the other end, other line coming from the power steering cooler, mounted in there. Y'all see it in there? It's a power steering cooler. So I ran the other line here, and I got it tight. We flushed all the power steering fluid out of it, all the particles, all the dirt, everything. And so now it's time to bleed the system. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna pour some more power steering fluid in here. And I'm gonna turn the steering wheel lock to lock about 20 times. I'll probably turn it 5 times, look at the fluid level, add more fluid to it, turn it 5 more times, make sure the fluid level is topped off, turn it 5 more times. You just want to keep check on it so that way it don't get dry and suck air back into the system. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Be back with y'all in a minute. Now, you probably asking yourself, why do I have to turn the steering wheel from lock to lock to circulate the fluid? Why can't I just pour some fluid in it and crank it up to get the fluid throughout the system? Yeah, you can do it that way. But the preferred way is to turn the steering wheel from lock to lock and let the pressure from you turning the steering wheel suck the fluid from the reservoir down into the system. That's the preferred way that you want to bleed your system. And the reason I say that's the preferred way is because you got to think about it, YouTube. Whenever you first fill in your power steering fluid, whenever you first put your power steering fluid in the system and it's dry, your pump don't have no power steering fluid in it. It don't got nothing in it. So even though you fill the reservoir up and you crank the engine, your power steering pump is going to run for a second or two without no power steering fluid in it. And so just that little short length of time of running without no fluid in it can cause some damage to your power steering pump. It don't have to fail right away and stop working, but yeah, you can significantly shorten the lifespan of your power steering pump. That's why the preferred way is to jack your car up, fill your reservoir with fluid, and turn your steering wheel from lock to lock. Remember this, YouTube. Now, you gonna meet people. People gonna say, nah, just crank it up. Just pour the fluid in it and crank it up. And that'll circulate the fluid or suck the fluid in there. Yeah, you can do that. But if it works the other way of you jacking the car up and turning the wheel from lock to lock, use that method, YouTube. Use it. That way your pump don't have to run for a second or two without no fluid in it. And that way you don't risk tearing up your power steering pump. Remember that, YouTube. Remember, I put 3 power steering pumps and 3 different power steering gearboxes on my car. So trust me when I say that. All right, let's continue on bleeding the system, YouTube. All right, YouTube. As y'all can see, I had filled this all the way up, further as it could go. I've turned it from the steering wheel from lock to lock, just like this. I hear it bubbling in there now. Just lock to lock. Oh, wow. Sucking on up in there, YouTube. So let me put the camera down and let me add more fluid in. And I'll be back with y'all in a minute, YouTube. Later. All right, YouTube. I turned it from lock to lock about 5 more times. And the fluid level went down some more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more in there. And I'm going to keep on turning it. So be back with y'all in a minute. All right, YouTube. I turned it a few more times, maybe from lock to lock about maybe 5 or 6 more times. And it went down even more. So before I add more to it, I'm just going to keep turning it because I don't want it. Whenever you're turning it back and forth from lock to lock, if you can't see it, you want to have somebody keep an eye on it. Make sure it don't overflow, because the pressure does build up sometimes. See, it's going back down a little bit. Yep. So what I do is I add just a little bit more into it, and that's gonna be it. So, all right, YouTube, we'll be back in a minute. Now that is how you properly bleed your power steering system the GM recommended way, YouTube. And if you made it to this part of the video, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I want to thank you, man. And also, man, I want to give you a word of encouragement. You know, they always say you say the best till last. I want to just let y'all know, man, as you are aware, you know, I had some troubles. I had some trials. I had some tribulations, you know, with my power steering system on my LS swap. 3 different power steering pumps, 3 different power steering gearboxes. You know, that's a lot. You know, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of labor work. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of everything, man. And you know what? I want to quit. I want to just let somebody else do it. But you know what? I didn't quit. And I didn't give up, YouTube. And I didn't do it. And I made it through. I want to encourage you today that whatever trial, whatever trouble, whatever issue that you've got going on with your LS swap right now that you have not yet worked out, I want to give you a word of encouragement. I want to let you know, man, to continue to be persistent. Don't stop. Yeah, you might need to give it a break. You know, when you get frustrated, or you just trying to get over a big road bump, you know, talk to some people. Join the Chevys R Us Go Live Wednesdays to chop it up and to discuss your problem, man, with the Chevys R Us family. If I don't got a solution, maybe somebody else from the Chevys R Us family has a solution for you. But I want to encourage you today, man. Don't quit. Don't give up. You know what I'm saying? Because if you quit, if you give up, you never know the reward that God has for you at the end of your journey, at the end of your process that you're going through. Whenever you get to the end, you're going to be stronger. You're going to know more. You're going to be better than what you were before, YouTube. Regardless of whatever it is you're working on. It ain't even got to be no LS swap. Whatever trial and whatever trouble and whatever issue, whatever tribulation that you're dealing with right now in your life, when you get to the other side of it, you're going to be better, YouTube. So I want to give you that piece of encouragement. And I want to also let you know, man, that I'm praying for you. And I'm praying for the rest of the Chevys R Us family. If you watch this, or if you happen to see this, just know that. All right? I appreciate y'all for watching. If you like this video, man, make sure y'all hit the likes button. Make sure you hit the like button, YouTube. And also make sure you share this video with somebody else that may be beneficial too. All right, y'all take care and God bless. You too, you too.